What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and I'm sorry I didn't upload yesterday. Several reasons. One, I felt like shit. I felt really poorly yesterday. I was a bit worried I got, the Rona. But no, I'm alright. I don't know what happened. I just sort of had like this 24-hour feeling really weak and ill. But I feel fine. So yeah, so sorry I didn't give you much of an update yesterday. It was poor of me. Anyway, let's talk about some positives. Looks like this deal for the Ukrainian lad is done. It looks like it's going to get announced the 1st of January or the end of December, but it looks like that's a done deal by all decent size accounts. But it has left Luca Dean in a little bit of limbo, and several clubs appear to be interested in Luca Dean, as they would do. He's a French international, and on his day, he's a quality footballer. Napoli interested in him as a left back. Chelsea interested in him. I personally think he'll go to Chelsea. I think that makes sense. But Newcastle are another club that are apparently interested in Luca Dean. I've said the same thing over and over again for the last few days, but I personally think he'll end up at Chelsea. Anyway, you go over to the right side of the pitch, and Everton have been linked with several players, but Nathan Patterson again has came out as the one that Everton would consider going for, apparently £9 to £10 million. The issue is apparently Rangers want most of the money up front. This is a kid that's got a bit of everything, young, dynamic. He sort of ticks all the boxes. The lad on the left-hand side will tick, if you get what I mean. Ben Godfrey the same. Hungry, point to prove, wants to do well, ambitious. There's no negatives to that in my mind. It's not a huge fee, so again, no issues there. My only concern, and again, I've said the same concern with all of these things, is, when you look at Everton as a football club, where we are right now, I think it's fine going in and getting young, hungry players, absolutely. But I do worry about the leagues that they come from, and can they adapt? Can they make that step up? Can they change? And I think it's a positive if they can. But I do think it makes and breaks players. We saw it with Ademola Lookman, maybe, if you want to mention him. He struggled to adapt to Everton. Maybe he didn't get the opportunities, but he struggled, and that was from coming from a Championship League One side, Charlton. We've seen it with players who've come from big clubs. Moise Kean, Juventus, couldn't quite get the grasp of the Premier League, I would say, and left. Had a fantastic season in France, and again, couldn't really do it in the Premier League. So, this is my concern with younger players that don't have that Premier League experience. But equally, we have to be toeing the line, and I have to appreciate that buying Premier League proven experienced players comes with a premium, comes with a cost. And apart from Damari Gray, that was a bargain. But apart from that, usually it costs a lot. Vlasic was another one who currently isn't getting a game at West Ham, or is sitting on the bench, I would say. Everton have also been linked with, again, another young lad from Forest, Brennan Johnson. I've got to be honest, I don't know too much about this kid. What I do know is apparently they want 20 million quid for him from Forest. And again, you're not talking about 10 million, you're not talking about 9 million, you're not talking about a player who's played in the Champions League. You're talking about a kid who's played for Nottingham Forest in the Championship and in and around mid-table. They were really poor at the start of the season. So, sort of on the fence about it. Apparently Newcastle are also interested. If it comes to a spending match with Newcastle, Everton are going to lose, partly because of financial fair play. I would be surprised if Brennan is an Everton player in the future. Personally, I can't see it happening. Other news, and I want to mention this because it was important. Nathan Broadhead, he played for Sunderland last night and scored a fantastic goal against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. He was brilliant. He went off with an injury, which was a real shame, but he looks like a player that's trying to prove a point, and I like that. I'm really keen to see that. So we'll see. But apart from that, there isn't really much going on. It's not a huge amount going on. There's been rumours of Denzel Dumfries. Because obviously he had that move in the summer. There's been rumours about whether he's happy or not. To me, that boat sailed as well. So, yeah, it's not much of an update. It's not a very good video, to be honest. It's just me really rambling for the last 6 minutes. I do think Everton will sign a right back. I think it's really important we sign a right back. I think if we can sign a right back, and they are, you know, Patterson could well be the option. You know, we've seen young Scottish fullbacks doing fantastic jobs. And I don't like saying it because the one everyone will think about is Robertson. But, you know, he has done a good job. And he was a player at Hull that I would have loved Everton to have signed, but we didn't. He's done a great job as a fullback, yes, on the left-hand side. But, you know, if there's that sort of talent up in Scotland, you can't ignore that. So I'm not against it, certainly, and I think a lot of Rangers fans think this could now happen. Steven Gerrard is no longer at Rangers. It would make sense that he comes into the Premier League now because he's still young enough to learn, adapt. He's got Seamus Coleman who can coach him and teach him and help support him. Everton have just brought in David Weir, who again will help from a defensive development perspective. No negatives to any of that. So yeah, all of a sudden it looks a little bit more positive for Everton. Also recently had the news that Calvert-Lewin is back for the Burnley game. That is great news. That is absolutely brilliant news because we have missed him. We have definitely missed him. And we will just see what happens towards the end of the season now. I really don't think that... I don't think we'll finish in Europe. I don't think we'll finish in the top 10. But what I do want to see is us not fighting relegation. I always knew this season would be a transition. I said the same last season, and there's only so many years you can get away with saying it. The fans are rightly not happy about where we currently are, and that shouldn't be ignored. The running of this club has been shit. But are we going in the right direction? I don't know. My hope is that we are. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. So, guys, look, I'm going to leave it there. Have a lovely Wednesday evening. Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah, it's Wednesday. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully there'll be a bit more news. But there isn't really anything. The ground, first bits of the ground are now being constructed. I think there's some concrete walls going up. Positives, again. I think my optimism is slightly waned at the minute, just because of where Everton are. You know, 14th in the league. Rafa Benitez, whether you like him or not, it's just not ideal. None of this is ideal, but we're sort of living through it, so we're all right. Guys, I'll leave it there. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon. Peace.